Season 5 has rolled its way round to Cold War Zombies, and honestly, we got some cool stuff, but we also got a new perk. And this perk is a very controversial pick from Treyarch here. We were all expecting double tap, but we didn't get that. We got Death Perception instead. Yeah, we all remember Death Perception from Black Ops 4, that perk that everyone was very open about how pointless it was. That's made its way into the perk roster. I decided to do you all a favor here and use all of my hard-earned crystals and put them into upgrading Death Perception all the way up to tier 5. And I'm going to be telling you whether it's worth it or not. So I'm going to start by reading you all of the upgrades here. For tier 1, the minimap update rate is increased. For tier 2, enemies give danger indicators when behind the player. For tier 3, you'll gain 20% more looted salvage and a high grade salvage. For tier 4, increase armor penetration damage by 25%. And for tier 5, nearby chests, resources, and item drops are keylined through walls. I'm sure if you can't tell, Death Perception isn't really one of the higher ranking perks here. But don't worry, I'm not just gonna rip on it all video, but I think it's gotta be said here, half of these upgrades are just so pointless. And if not pointless, then definitely just not vital to round-based zombies. I mean, what's with the radar refresh, you know? Nobody uses the minimap in zombies. I'm sorry, no one does. Any minimap users, comment down below please, but I just don't really think anyone is too bothered about the minimap. So the tier 1 upgrade just kind of goes out the window there. And being able to see zombies through walls, I'm sorry, but why? I don't need to see the zombie climbing through the barrier. It really boils down to the same thing in Black Ops 4 here, which is what Death Perception mainly did. In which, I mean, you could see zombies through walls, but it's just, I'm looking for the guy who asked for this, okay? I'm gonna need some help. Maybe I need some glasses because I cannot find them. But I will give Death Perception some brownie points here for the tier 4 upgrade, which is the 20% armor pen. And this makes taking down armored zombies a real treat here. It just gets the job done, and I just think that's a good thing about Death Perception in Cold War. It does help with those higher rounds, but considering there's 5 upgrades, we're gonna need a bit more of them to be useful here. And I've also got to hand another useful upgrade here to the salvage drop rate that gets increased for both high grade and common salvage. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty useful, okay? In those round-based zombies matches, and especially if you're going for like a round 100 strat, that salvage is going to be very useful, and the high grade salvage is going to be a really useful thing for being able to get like kill streaks faster, get self revives faster, that kind of thing, and be able to upgrade your weapon rarity. And so I'll admit that is a very good quality from Death Perception, but as for the rest, it's all just quality of life improvements, and even then they're just not needed. Like I said in a previous video, I have spatial awareness, okay? Every zombies player does for the most part. I don't need indicators to tell me that there are zombies behind me when I'm running a train. It's so pointless for that. And plus, I can see where they are anyway because the minimap is there, not like I even need to use the minimap, but if I really wanted to check if zombies are behind me, I don't need indicators, okay? I have a minimap that shows all of the zombies and where they are on the map. But do you know what is even better and more reliable than both Death Perception's indicators and the minimap? Simply turning around. Oh my god, that is a thing that can be done. You could just turn around and see all of the zombies that you need to, which is going to be a million times more useful and reliable than Death Perception's indicators, because I have no idea what the range of those indicators are, and with the minimap having to update and refresh, it just feels a lot more logical and makes more sense to just turn around whenever you want and then you can see zombies that way. So Death Perception's tier 5 upgrade, by the way, this is meant to be its ace card to play here. It is just to outline equipment, salvage, and like supply drops. That's so fruitless, you know? Say if I'm on Mauder Toten and I'm training around the tank that's next to Pack-a-Punch, and I'm killing zombies and they're dropping salvage and equipment, I'm gonna be running back around that area anyway, or checking the floor after the round has ended, and picking up any salvage or equipment that I need to. Me seeing it isn't gonna make a difference. Like, me seeing it through the tank, it's just not gonna make much of a difference. I don't know, am I just being too hard harsh on death perception? Like, am I just complaining too much? You know, I've really been talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of death perception in round-based zombies. You see, we haven't took Outbreak into consideration here, which I've really got to argue I am almost 100% certain that death perception was implemented into Cold War with Outbreak in mind. Let's go over all 5 tiers again, but let's take Outbreak into consideration. Okay, tier 1, yeah, it is still pointless. Please, if anyone uses the minimap in zombies, I need to know why. I'm asking a genuine question here. So let's just conclude here that tier 1 is still just a bunch of ass, so we'll move on from that. Much like tier 1 here, tier 2 is just as pointless. It really does not bear any fruit with the indicators that tell you when zombies are behind you. It's just very pointless, especially in a mode like Outbreak where most of the maps are just really open anyway, so there's not actually any need to worry about zombies being behind you all the time. And so, you know, death perception strikes again being pretty useless. I really think tier 1 and 2 need a rework, honestly, considering they don't have a purpose in Outbreak or round-based zombies. Listen, I'll be honest here, I don't know what they could actually do for tier 1 and 2 instead of what we have now, and I don't want to seem like the type of guy to complain about something and then not give a solution, but maybe this is a good opportunity for you guys who are watching to comment down below how you would improve death perception's tiers, even if it's not just 1 and 2. Just, I'd love to hear your ideas, but I'm just pretty confident that there has to be a better solution to tier 1 and 2. Anyway, moving on to tier 3, this is obviously the gain 20% more looted salvage and the high grade salvage. Very good stuff, you know, that's what we like to see. Now I can imagine this being useful in Outbreak considering you open chests that are full of salvage, and so getting more from those drops is just useful all around the board, not even just Outbreak here. But since we're talking about Outbreak specifically here, you're more than likely to be getting most of your salvage in a match of Outbreak via chests that you would be looting around for in houses, and they give you equipment, some ammo, maybe a gun, perk, but they pretty much always give you salvage. And so with death perception here, it will be very useful to get that kind of boost for extra salvage. And to be maximizing your salvage gain here, it's going to be very useful combined with tier 5, and we'll get to that one later. But right now, let's move on to tier 4. So tier 4 will increase the armor pen damage by 25%. It's pretty good. Obviously, I don't think I need to go into too much detail about this one. It's going to be useful all around the board here, both round-based and Outbreak, but the higher you get in rounds, the more of a problem armored zombies are going to be, and god damn it, they're so annoying. So being able to kill them faster is just going to be such a big help. And honestly, if you aren't a fan of death perception, I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of death perception, then if for any tier you should be buying this perk for in your game, it's definitely got to be for this one. And last but not least, tier 5 of death perception in Outbreak, how does it do? This is admittedly a little disappointing. You would think it would be way more useful, but in Outbreak, it isn't actually that bad. Now, when I said that this would pair well with tier 3, I'm sure you can imagine why. You'll be able to see chests and crystals and everything through walls. So one of the most annoying things in Outbreak, and it was a novelty that wore off very quick for me, was having to run around the map looting buildings for ammo, salvage, equipment, etc. And a lot of the time you would be in a building looting and it would just be absolutely bone dry empty. And I mean drier than Extinction's player base. And so with the tier 5 death perception, this will save you so much time when you're looting. I mean, in this gameplay, I am like using death perception, I'm looking at the building, if there's nothing there, you can just move on to the next one and you can actually see the chests, and it's overall just really useful for that. And fun fact, if it doesn't show a chest through a wall, then that chest is probably a mimic, or it's been opened. This pairs very well with tier 3 here because obviously you can find more chests way easier, and then you're getting more salvage from said chests. And being able to see the enemies through walls, obviously in Outbreak, zombies aren't going for you all the time, so say if you're outside of a building, you can just kind of plan ahead and see where they all are, so you're not having to check every single corner of a building. And with these kind of advantages, although they're not huge, tier 5 also lets lets you see intel as well. That's pretty good. There's a lot of times I've run straight past intel, and so maybe being able to see it through a wall clearly outlined should help me, you know, not be as dumb and just like find it easier. So intel hunters out there, go wild. And so with all of these things taken into consideration, my conclusion for depth perception is if you're using it in round based, it's good, but you're going to be getting the most use out of it in Outbreak. Mainly because the pointless things become a bit more useful in Outbreak, such as the tier 5 being able to see stuff through walls. Makes Outbreak a lot more fun and less time wasting when you're just running around empty buildings. But I think we can all agree here that for both modes, depth perception is very useful for the armor pen damage in tier 4 and the extra salvage looted for tier 3. But anyways, I'm going to leave this video here today. If you enjoyed and found this video helpful, then be sure to smash the like button. Comment your thoughts on depth perception down below. It's a very controversial one and I have very mixed feelings about it. And only a very small percentage of people are subscribed to the channel, so if you're enjoying this video and you've made it this far, then subscribe to the channel. You will not regret it. Turn on the notification bell too to stay notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time.